Number 10. Camera in comic book store. In season 9, Stuart invites the girls over to the comic book store to get their advice on how to bring more women through the door.
So how can we help?
Well, I know more women are buying comics than ever, but for some reason I can't get them in here.
All right, well, what have you tried so far?
When asked what he's done so far, he mentions the, quote, breastfeeding area, and tries to allay their concerns by telling them about the camera he had installed above them.
Really? In a comic book store?
Oh, don't worry, I've got a camera right up here, so I could watch from the counter, make sure guys aren't being pervs.
In the episode that aired, this last comment creeps the girls out. However, in a great blooper, actor Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart, can't quite make it through his speech, which ends up cracking up the rest of the cast in the scene as well.
Anyway...
Number 9. Will Wheaton plays with himself.
Former star of Star Trek The Next Generation, and the only guy I know lucky enough to be immortalized in 1/16 scale. Set phasers to fun.
Okay, so we have to admit that Sheldon handing Will Wheaton a Wesley Crusher action figure and telling him to feel free to play with yourself, now that's a great line.
Can I speak to you for a second?
I'll be right back. Feel free to play with yourself.
It still makes us laugh every time we watch that episode. And it turns out, Mayim Bialik liked it also. So much so, in fact, that the actress just couldn't stay in character when it was her time to speak next. She was supposed to be angry, which we see in the aired episode, but in the blooper, she couldn't even get started.
I'll be right back. Feel free to play with yourself.
Number 8. Penny's feet. Depending on your POV, feet can be sexy or gross, but not many people find them funny.
Well, he pointed out that he kind of sort of had a put up with you.
Kind of, sort of, had a?
Well, I didn't agree with him.
Well, you defended me, right?
I tried, but...
However, watching Kaylee Cuoco go to town on her feet in this season 4 scene was too much for Simon Helberg to handle. As we saw in the scene that made it to air, Howard is supposed to admonish Penny for scrubbing her feet wrong, and then take over and show her how it's done.
I do this for my mom all the time. See? With the grain.
Wow, that is better.
But in this take that ended up on the blooper reel, Helberg, although he tries to hang in there, can't help but break as Penny scrubs and scrubs and scrubs away.
Tried, but he...
Number 7. Indian Jones. In season 6, Raj had the very funny idea of dressing up as Indiana Jones's mocha-skinned love child, Indian Jones, for Halloween.
I was thinking of dressing up as Indiana Jones's mocha-skinned love child. Indian Jones.
Clever.
The problem is that Jim Parsons and Simon Helberg thought it was a really funny idea also. This was a problem because every time Kunal Nair would try and get his lines out, those other two would keep cracking up.
I was thinking of dressing up as Indiana Jones's
If that wasn't bad enough, once Parsons and Helberg were able to hold it together and keep a straight face, Nair just couldn't get the line out properly for take after take after take after...
Oh, by the way, can I borrow your bullwhip and fedora? Dude, keep it together. Oh, by the way, can I borrow your bullwhip and fedora?
Number 6. Howard and Raj get close. One of the things that makes this scene so funny is how Helberg and Nair hold their positions with their faces just a couple of inches from each other.
This is where he goes? What's in there? I think it's an old storage room. What could he be doing in there every day for 20 minutes?
If you're wondering how they managed to do it without laughing, well, the answer is they didn't. At least not on the first take.
What are you doing? I'm listening. Can't you face the other way and listen? I can't do anything right for you, can I?
We're not sure how many takes they did, but we do know that at least one of them led to this great blooper in which they hold, and hold, but eventually Nair cracks a smile. Hellberg manages to hang on a bit longer, but not by much. Number 5, Mike deGrasse Tyson. In the season 9 episode, The Fermentation Bifurcation, the gang runs into Penny's ex, Zach, at a wine tasting and gets to talking about science.
Angular momentum. I was wondering about that.
You can put it in a satellite or a rocket and it'll run forever.
Cool.
Because, as Zach points out, he loves science and can even name a number of famous scientists, including Mike deGrasse Tyson.
I love science. Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Mike deGrasse Tyson.
Zach's name mix-up gets a smile of superiority from the geniuses, as the script certainly called for. What it didn't call for, though, was Kaylee Cuoco bursting out laughing, which she did during one of the takes when Zach stumbles over the name mix-up.
Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Mike deGrasse Tyson. I saw.
Number 4, Raj the couples counselor. Raj might just be the character most in touch with his feelings, and the best one to give advice to the couples in the group.
You made us feel like we're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, we were totally fine half-assing our marriage till you showed up.
Look, I'm sorry you're upset with me, but I just have to say it's nice to see the two of you on the same page.
But that doesn't mean they always want his advice. And in the Discovery Dissipation, each couple, one after the other, tells him exactly that. First, it's Howard and Bernadette, followed by Sheldon and Amy.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And Amy, you need to be patient with Sheldon instead of pressuring him to accept intimacy on your terms.
You should probably go.
But before they got a good take of Amy telling Raj to leave, there were a couple in which neither Nair, Bialik, nor Parsons could keep a straight face as Raj doled out his relationship advice.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And Amy?
Why are you laughing?
Number 3, Howard's Al Pacino impression. Howard is a master of impressions, and in season 6's The Love Spell Potential, we got to enjoy a number of them, from Nicolas Cage to Christopher Walken.
Travel with caution. These woods are home to the bones of many a fallen hero.
But when the girls return to the apartment where the guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons, Howard breaks out his Al Pacino impression to invite them to join in on the game.
A satanic fungus that looks suspiciously like Al Pacino rises from the forest floor and says, "You're playing D&D. You're playing D&D. This whole apartment is playing D&D."
And yes, the characters are supposed to appreciate the impression, but if you look at the cast around Howard, you can see that these are real laughs, not acting laughing.
I know not to fly over volcanoes. I'm a freaking idiot. Big Dragons, Christopher Walken, that's perfect.
Number 2, Sheldon spanks Amy. The episode in which Sheldon takes care of a sick Amy is filled with some of the biggest laughs of the series.
You may notice some tingling.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
We all remember Sheldon putting VapoRub on Amy's chest and spanking her to punish her for lying about being sick once her condition had improved. Well, as big as the laughs from the studio audience were during these scenes, so too were Parsons and Bialik's character breaks in the bloopers for each one. Bialik actually goes and winks at Parsons while he rubs her chest, And Parsons loses it after each spank of her rear end.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Action.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thor and Dr. Jones. It often requires multiple takes to get a scene right, and actors can break character numerous times before finally keeping a straight face for the scene that makes it into the episode.
Indy held his ground and straightened his fedora.
Thor said, "That's a nice look," in 1944.
And then there are times when the scene that makes it to air isn't the only one where they don't break, but rather the one in which they break the least. Case in point, Howard and Raj's concert at the comic book store in season 9. As you can see in this blooper, Kaylee Cuoco is breaking through pretty much the entire song.
One plays with lightning, the other plays with...
But check out the actual scene and you'll see Cuoco holding strong when they first cut to her, but once Nair and Hellberg hit those high notes, she breaks yet again.
One plays with lightning, the other plays with bones. Thor and Dr. Jones.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.